Pause in sports and head straight to the National Media Centre where there is a brief.
The second advance estimate has come in these segments as higher. Correspondingly, if you look, you will find that in certain segments, particularly in financial insurance, real estate, the second advance comes in lower than the first advance. In public administration and defense, also the second advance comes in lower. The reasons here have to do with principally in financial real estate, insurance real estate, principally on account of the advance filing of companies which were made available. The third quarter estimates of companies which fall into this segment showed a lower growth than what was available in the first two quarters. In public administration and defense, the reason is actually quite mundane. Government revenue expenditure in the third quarter was squeezed, and that was available in the budget documents. Overall, GVA has come in a little lower than what we had predicted at the time of the first advance. It is now being projected at 6.7%. But the reason why GDP has maintained is the reduction in GVA has been compensated for by improved estimate in net indirect taxes, both on account of an increase in indirect taxes over April to December as against April to November, and in subsidies which come in much lower this year, principally on account of the fact that at the time of the first advance, we were still working with budget estimates of subsidies. As you have seen the budget documents, now the revised estimates of subsidies are available, and they show a much tighter compression than was provided for in the budget estimates. Both of these show a negative, since the subsidies show a negative growth and taxes show a significant positive growth, the GDP growth has been maintained. Inter alia, these numbers are shown in the third quarter estimates as well. The third quarter estimates have come in at 6.6% for the third quarter. One point which I would like to emphasize, and then I'll close my initial statements and take comments from the press. These estimates are based on the revised estimates for 15-16 which were released at the end of January, as against the first advance estimate which was benchmarked to the provisional estimate. Now, those of you who have compared the provisional estimate to the revised estimate would note that unlike the first 2 years of the new series, this time the revised estimate has come in higher than the provisional. So in fact, last year's base has gone up. So the growth numbers which we are showing now on the quarterly estimates as well as at the advance estimates are benchmarked to a higher base, and that may be kept in mind when you are interpreting the results. Last observation is many of you have already drawn some inferences about this estimate based on the data available from IIP, Agricultural Advance Estimate, as well as corporate filings. And these estimates are in line with that. The details of corporate estimates, etc., are given in our press note, and you may wish to make use of it in your write-up. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Secretary Sir. Yeah, let's start with 299. Yes.
So Shubham from Cogensis. So you've been able to maintain the number at 7.1 in the second estimate itself. The manufacturing and mining is in fact been revised higher. Are we to make that the impact of demonetization is still not captured in the numbers?
You know, I don't know what you mean by not captured, or let me put it this way.
So because the manufacturing shows a jump again, and those are the particular sectors which were likely to have an impact of the currency withdrawal, that's why.
Well, I can only tell you what the third quarter figures show. We have the third quarter figures on, at the moment, let us see what have we got. We've got the IIP figure, complete figure for the third quarter. Those numbers have been released to you. They have been used in this estimate. We also have, at this stage, only advanced filings of corporates. Those figures are also available to you. We have used them in the third quarter estimates. Are there more numbers which are likely to come in the future? The answer is yes. More numbers will be coming in the future, and in particular, the full corporate filing data will not be available until the close of the financial year, and we will get to see it at the time of the revised estimate, which is published at next January in 2018. We will also get to see the annual survey of industries data for this period, which will become available only in January 2019. But as of now, the data which is available has been captured in these estimates, and you may interpret them in whichever way you like.
Yeah, Sapna.
So Sapna from CNBC TV 18. So two aspects here. One, of course, 7.1 has been a bit of a surprise for many quarters. You also have more numbers coming around 31st May. So, but overall, the trajectory is looking very positive. Does it really indicate that this is how it's going to continue? Because you also benchmarked against a higher base for 15-16. That is one. And second, do we understand that demonetization has really not had the kind of impact that a lot of quarters were expecting? So your thoughts?
I told you this last time also. Policies like demonetization are very difficult to assess without a lot of data coming in. But the immediate effect based on the data which is currently available certainly bears out the observation which you have made. We will, of course, keep evaluating our numbers as and when more data becomes available, and it will be my job to make the data available to you, and you will draw the appropriate conclusions at that time.
But no impact as of now.
I will not draw any conclusions.
Sir, this is Gaurang from ET now. I just want to particularly ask you about the third quarter data, where we've seen, the growth being significantly lower than the first two quarters. If you perhaps tell us about what factors have dragged this particular number down in the third quarter, and where is the impact, particularly if you compare to the previous quarters, of the demonetization most visible?
Again, from my reading of the third quarter numbers is that in the third quarter we find that sectorally agriculture and mining do better than in the first two quarters. In so far as manufacturing is concerned, the number is mixed. It is better than the second quarter, but not better than the first quarter. Trade, hotels and restaurants, again, is better than the second quarter, not as good as the first quarter. Each one of them, the underlying data points are described in the database. The only sector where the third quarter is distinctly worse, or only two sectors where the third quarter is distinctly worse. One is the finance real estate category. Now, here there are two reasons. One, as I said, the corporate filings. On a marginal level on finance, the other element is finance is estimated by us, financial services, by growths in credit and deposits. Here we find a mixed picture. While deposit growth was good over the year, the aggregate of deposits and credits, when you compare it to previous years, is comparable, but on the little bit on the lower side. That's why the financial services as a whole has come in poorly. Does this imply an effect of demonetization? I am very, very hesitant to draw simple post hoc comparisons, because the real estate sector is seeing a lot of, restructuring. And in part, the restructuring is also, many of you are aware that government has passed the Real Estate Regulatory Authority. So I'm not in a position to tell you what are the factors behind the numbers. I can tell you what the numbers show. But to parse it out, what is it attributed to, I think will require a lot more detailed analysis. And at this stage, we should simply take stock of the numbers and not do simple post hoc analysis.